In this section, we're going to be discussing CD-ROM drives and DVD-ROM drives. That's a compact disc, read-only memory, which are kind of outdated today. Computers don't really come with the drives. Same for the DVD, the digital video disc. The compact discs would hold about 750 megabytes of data. The DVDs can hold up to 8 gigabytes. The advantages of CD-ROM and DVD drives: large storage capacities relative to the prior technology. They're portable. Data cannot be changed. That was partly true. So once you write to the disk, if you only wrote a little bit of data to the disk, then you could mark it as deleted and then write to the next part of the disk. So you might see people rewriting to a drive. They're not writing over it. And there were some drives where their laser would write just lightly on it, and then it could kind of overwrite it again, but the data wasn't very persistent. So 10 years was the life of these things. I think it was actually 5 years, but they would actually last 10 years. So if you wrote to the disk with the lights, the light-powered laser, in other words, you were going to plan on erasing the disk, like literally erasing the disk. There were some that had that ability, some of the media. The drive had to also support it. The light scribe drives, they would support it. They can control the power in the laser, so they could write just very lightly. Those would not last 5 years. You would wipe out the data before then, just leaving it in a sleeve. So they weren't as reliable. And they're also, the CD-ROM drives are one-sided. The DVD-ROMs, they can be two-sided or one-sided. So they're 4.7 gigs if they're one-sided, and they're 8+ gigs on the double-sided. So the data cannot be changed. With a caveat for the test, know that that's the answer. They're pretty sturdy, they're hardy, they last about 10 to 11 years before you start having read errors on them. They're pretty good. Some of them will last 15, depends on the quality of the medium and the power of your laser. Most lasers, and even the last 3 to 5 years, were very good quality lasers. They have special capabilities. This is true. Some of them you can write on the front side, you can draw a picture on it. It's called a light scribe. So they had several different types. They're very low cost and they're very high speed. They write very fast. CD-ROMs versus hard drives. There's no physical contact between the CD-ROM and the reading device. Technically there isn't on the hard drive, but there's a head that gets very close and it picks up the magnetic data. If they ever touch, it destroys the head, so it doesn't really touch it. The storage tracks allow more data storage on the hard drive. Hard disks are less expensive and getting larger, so that's true. And then optical devices are used for archiving, true. Data is written to a CD-ROM by creating pits and lands in the CD surface. A super CD-ROM alternative is called a DVD drive, so a digital video disc. It's a DVD read-only memory. It's read-only, holds up to 17 gigs of data. They can hold up to that if you compress it. And then a DVD video, which is 4.7 gigabytes as well, holds up to 135 minutes of video. A DVD-R recordable holds up to 4 gigabytes of data per side, so 4 and 4 is 8. So the capacities here, if they're two-sided and or compressed data. So these are possibilities, it wasn't the norm. So the DVD RAM drive, so a DVD random access memory read-write, slowly gaining acceptance because of incompatibilities. So the problem here was this was requiring a special drive and special software to run it. And you could erase and then rewrite with the low power laser I was telling you about. So the connecting CD and DVD drives. So we have adapter boards. So the motherboard sits flat. If you take a tower and you lay it down, the motherboard sits flat in there. And then we had a daughter card in the earlier computers, a daughter card that you stuck into the motherboard, and then your CD or DVD connected to that. But even the last 10 years, they plugged directly into the motherboard. So the adapter boards weren't required in forever. So the sound cards with CD controllers on board, that's for the audio connector only. They never plugged into the sound card except for way back, way back. So you'll probably never see one of those. It's that old. So the only sound card connection, which also the sound cards are integrated into the motherboards today, so you can plug two things into the motherboard: the actual cable, which today all of them use SATA, or the EIDE cable, the big fat cable. And then also the audio cable. So it'll be one of the two. It'll be either SATA or EIDE and SATA. And then they have SCSI host adapters. This is true. Some of them use that. And then EIDE connectors, which we already talked about. Audio capability and access time. CD-ROM ISO yellow book standard. So these are the capabilities and access times that they adhere to. There's an ISO 9660 standard, and there's two important values, the transfer rate and the mean access time. Pretty much all of them, you don't really have to research this. That would have been very early on models, something proprietary maybe. All of them are very standard today and very fast. And they have been for a while.